I'm going to be sharing with you my rowing training plan, and I'm going to break this video up into sections. Past training plans, current training plan, different phases of each training plan that I've done, preparing for 2Ks, for on-water races, what water training looks like versus land training looks like. With regards to weight training, I have a ton of data. I've recorded every 2K I've ever done since I've started rowing, and I'm going to share with you what I think has worked and hasn't worked. I have no idea what I'm saying. And by no means do I recommend copying anything I've done. Of course, listen to your coach. This is my opinion, and hopefully it just gives you some insight. Let's get into it. Okay, so I started rowing in grade 9, and I'll show a picture of what I looked like going into grade 9 right now. And then at the end of grade 9, we ended up winning the CSSRA championship in the U17 men's 8, and we came third in the U17 men's 4. That whole process was very similar to any higher performance high school program that you would see for under 17. So it's pretty standard. I don't really have the training for that, but it was very elementary, nothing groundbreaking. There wasn't some secret formula that we did. It was like we erged probably, oh shoot, I don't even know, like maybe 60K max a week, if that, throughout that winter, my first season rowing. And then we got on the water, I think like 5 times a week through the spring, and it's like an 8-week spring. So pretty standard stuff, nothing like crazy. We were all novices in that boat as well. So, but going into that summer, pretty much I was rowing on the water every morning, pretty much every day a single, sometimes in a double. And then we goofed around in a quad a few times, but up to this point I'd never sculled before. And what's different about a single to an 8 is that a single, there's like a higher drag factor. So if you're familiar with drag factor on the erg, a single would be considered like a heavier boat. The training is a little more anaerobic in a single, whereas in an 8 you're rating like close to 40 strokes per minute during your body of your 2K, whereas in a single it's closer to low 30s, just for example. So there's more power per stroke required to move a single. So keep that in mind so this summer after grade 9 going into grade 10, I was moving a much heavier boat, or I was building a lot of strength. The boat I was rowing was a heavier boat. I was a heavier person. So I got pretty strong. I also completely grinded the gym afterward. So we were training with university guys and the older guys in our program from the 1V. Me and my buddies from grade 9 were doing very high volume in this single, kind of out of nowhere. So we would do like at least 16K every morning consistently. And that's not, oh, maybe one day you did like 12 and you're saying on average 16K. I mean at least 16K. So going into now the next grade 10, I was put in the 1V, the 8, and again, much higher volume than I was used to. We were rowing every morning in the 8 and doing some good work on the erg. Now going into the winter, this is probably what you're more interested in grade 10. So my grade 9 PR on the erg was 648. And I'll show this graph for the first time right now of my 2K progress since I started high school. So going into grade 10, I got it down to 644, and I was determined to sub 640 because at these erg competitions that my high school really hyped up and wanted us to perform well at, or they were fun events, so you wanted to do well at them. And I had like combed through all the results over the last like 15 years, and I knew that in the U17 division, which I was because I was in grade 10, if I was able to go sub 640 on a 2K, almost definitely win the U17 division as long as my 2K time was in the 630s. So that was my goal. And I think one afternoon in the fall before class had ended, I had taken C4 pre-workout during last class of the day, and that was grade 10 science. And I ran over to the field house at school, hopped on an erg, ripped a 2K at the end of the fall, and it was 6:37. So I had broken 6:40, and this was before our practice on the water in the 1v8. So that's kind of, I just did it on the fly, no warm up. I didn't warm up all through grade 10. My warm up progressively evolved, because one thing that's really notable throughout all of these training plans is my fitness has historically been really poor, and I was just able to hold on to my 2K pace for a very long time, whereas in other training categories, such as category 4, category 3, so our 6K pace, I really could not maintain that very long. So no warm up. And sort of now going into the winter, I had a 6:38 or 6:37 2K. And on Mondays, we would do sort of like, it would always be random stuff. So it would be like 3x6K, or we do 2K prep, like 500,000. It would be like very high intensity. So it would, like, one example here is 6x2 minutes, 1 minute rest at 2K pace. We do 3x6K at 18, max effort, or we do 500,000, 500 with 1 minute rest between. But then we do 2 sets of that with 10 minutes rest between sets. Or I remember these now. 3x6 minutes on the Mondays at category 4, and that was just, or category 3 at a rate 20 with 3 minutes rest. Tuesday was always pretty much pyramids or castles, changing the rate. So these would alternate between a 44-minute castles or 2x24-minute pyramids, something like that, some sort of pyramid in category 5. And then we do weights in the afternoon. So we'd have that castle or pyramid in the morning, and then we do weights every afternoon. This was every Tuesday. And then on the Wednesday, we would do this erg bike run, which is supposed to be C6. And that was basically just, they'd let us go, and in the field house, we'd take down ergs, bikes, or people would just run around. I would usually just run or bike category 6 for the full 60 to 70 minutes, and you're not supposed to stop. And then in the afternoon, we would have a swimming session as a cross train, because the school has a pool. On Thursday, in the mornings, we would do a category 4 erg bike run, and it was a circuit of, to do 4 minutes on the erg directly into running, directly into biking. And this was at a very high intensity. You would take some rest in between, and you go again. And we do like 4 of these. And we do that every Thursday morning. In the afternoon, we would have weights again. And this was consistent every single Thursday. On the Friday, it would get changed up, but it was generally always Cat 6. So like probably the famous workout was 3x20 minutes, 2 minute rest, or 4x4K with 2 minute rest, which is a little obscure. At the time, I thought that was a really good workout. It wasn't. But that's kind of what we do. So the highest we kind of get to was 4x20 minutes, 2 minute rest over that winter. And then on Saturday, we would always do some sort of circuit with the girls team. We would head to the tank, do some sort of very high intensity pyramid, and then do some rowing on the tank. And then we'd have yoga later on, which admittedly I never showed up to. No one really did. We get in trouble a lot for not showing up to yoga. It wasn't coach supervised. So in hindsight, it would have been very beneficial for me to have gone. That's pretty much our entire winter explained like that and all. But it was pretty simple, but very, very high intensity. And even when I say Cat 6, it really wasn't Cat 6, because there were a lot of us who had a very similar 2K, and we would all score very similarly on C6 workouts or Cat 5, whatever. and we were all trying to beat the other one out because our coach was recording every single workout we did, and he would rank them on weight, based on weight adjustment. So it was very competitive, and yeah, it was an absolute grind that year. I managed to get my 2K down to about, it was 633.4 before COVID, and now we're gonna get into COVID. What I did so basically after this winter training plan, COVID hit, and I came up with an absolutely ridiculous training plan because I wanted to go pro in rowing or something like that. So during the first phases of the COVID lockdown, I didn't really have to do school, so I spent a lot of time on the rowing machine. So this is a training plan that I made up by myself, and keep in mind I was very motivated in grade 10. So on Monday I would do category 4 in the morning at 3 by 10 minutes, and there was 4-minute rest in between that. And in the afternoon I would do category 6, okay, for 60 minutes straight. And my idea of category 6 was anything less than 24 strokes per minute, okay? Just 24 strokes per minute was my category 6. Anything less than that was kosher. 23 would be what I'd hold. Now it's consistent through our grade 10 training plan as well. On Tuesday, I do category 5 in the morning, 3 by 20 minutes at 2-minute rest. And this was probably done at 23 strokes per minute, again, maxing that out. And then I would do category 6 in the afternoon with 3 by 30 minutes, 3-minute rest. On Wednesday, I would do category 3/4, 3 by 2K with 5-minute rest. And in the afternoon, I would do category 6, 4 by 20 minutes rest. On Thursday, in the morning, 5 by 20 minutes, category 6, I guess, with 3-minute rest. And then the afternoon, I would do more category 6, 60 minutes. And Friday in the morning, I would do 4 by 4K, 2-minute rest. Like I said, I thought that was a good workout for some reason. Well, the way I was doing it, it wasn't. And then the afternoon, again, more category 6, 3 by 30 minutes. And on Saturday, I would do some 2K prep workout in the morning. And in the afternoon, I do 4 by 20 minutes of category 6. So basically some sort of form of category 6 every afternoon, didn't really matter, just long as fuck. And then in the morning, I would do some higher intensity stuff. And then I would also do weights at some point throughout the day. And it was like a 3-day split, and I still love the push-pull leg split. That's my favorite split for weights. So that's definitely what I did, and you can see that down here. And I would also make sure to do some core in there, which I probably didn't follow, even though I wrote it down. Like, this is what I followed. I followed this religiously. I genuinely did do 3 by 30 minutes, basically as a U17 athlete. I did the 5 by 20 minutes. I followed this plan to a T. Now, next, we moved into the summer. Like, we are allowed to row now. So I would row the single every single morning. Again, at least 16K, sometimes probably closer to 20 consistently. And that was basically every morning. And Sundays were rest days. Then I'd go home, I'd do weights. So this was like push-pull legs split again with an emphasis on legs, because at this point I kind of realized only working out upper body to a high standard was pretty useless for rowing. And I was getting really top heavy, which I still am now, and that's pretty much because of this. I was a complete meathead and would just lift crazy, but like only upper body. I had no idea how to work out legs. Throughout the day, I'd always do an erg. It'd be like 3 by 4K, 2 minutes rest, like light stuff. 16 by 250 with 1 minute rest, and this became one of my favorite workouts. Even to this day, I really enjoy that workout. I used to do this at 2K pace. Now I can do it like 7 splits below 2K pace. And then like another erg would be 2 by 20 minutes that I do, or some sort of 2K pace. It was a ton of 2K pace workouts. Like almost every day is a 2K pace workout, except like 2 days of the week. Basically throughout this whole summer after grade 10, and after we were kind of allowed to row again after the hardcore lockdown, I would row every morning, very long distance, getting that aerobic fitness in, kind of. probably rowing way too hard. And then I would rip weights every single day, 6 days a week. And then I would also do 2K pace 4 days a week, and then like steady state twice a week. So on the erg, after I did all of this, and then, at the end here, it says that I also would alternate and do more weights at the very end of the day. So I was working out like 4 times a day. So after the erg every day, I would actually transition immediately into a weight session. This is genius. So I think somebody commented on one of the other videos how I maintain so much muscle. I'm actually losing a lot of muscle. Like, I have been losing a lot of muscle. I was a lot more built, in my opinion, in previous years. Like, I think I was probably most jacked. Like, looking my best probably in the summer of grade 10, right before the summer of grade 10, because I was lifting so much. So we rode all throughout the fall in grade 11. In that fall, I managed to break 620, so I hit 616.3, and basically what I did to get there was absolutely nothing. That summer training plan that I had just gone over, where I worked out like 4 times a day, 2 weight sessions a day, 1 erg a day, and the morning row, basically led me into being able to go from like 630 on my 2K to 616.3, and I'll show that graph here again for my 2K progress, and you can see that where that massive drop is, and that was a lot of momentum. So I had a lot of momentum going into that 616.3. I was really strong, not very fit. My workouts were actually not impressive at all given that time, but really strong. Like category 2 workouts were nuts. My 1K at 24 strokes per minute was like estimating that I'd be in range to go like sub 6 on the 2K. So good at that sort of thing. But then I'd struggle to do like 3 by 20 minutes on the erg at a decent pace. So my pace on steady state around this time would have been just under 2 minutes per 500 meter. Which is not good, and it would be like a high heart rate. It would not be a low heart rate at all. So and then kind of after that, we had like a good fall and winter. So the fall we basically just rode crew boats every morning, and then I would supplement in some steady state rowing in the afternoons, and a lot of 2K pace. I would probably throw in an obscene amount of 2K pace workouts, like 16 by 250, that one. At that point, it was like a lot that's when I was realizing you could go a lot faster on that workout and use it for different purposes. I'd probably be hitting like 8 by 500, 2-minute rest all the time. And that kind of moves me into when we got into lockdown, and they decided to make erg competitions virtual. And my brilliant idea was to make a whole training plan that I was going to follow leading up to this 2K. And this was Canadian Indoor Rowing Championships. It was held virtually, and I'll show the screenshot of the plan now. But you can see it was pretty high intensity most of the time. And there's a lot of steady state in here, but I really wasn't very good at it and wasn't really utilizing it properly. I also ate like crap, so that definitely didn't help either. And I was like really overweight as well. I think I was like 230 pounds or something. I gained a lot of weight. I had cut down from about 250 from the start of grade 9, got down to around 200. Then at the end of grade 10, when lockdowns like first started, I was really into like getting leaner and eating a lot of protein and doing that efficiently. So I got down to about like low 180s, which like was unsustainable the way I was doing it. And I managed to blow back up to like 230. So I gained like 50 pounds, which is pretty easy for me to do. Yeah, so it'd be like every Wednesday was some sort of 2K pace workout, and that would alternate. I'd never do like the same one really twice, which was probably a mistake. You want to be able to progressively overload workouts and see progress on certain workouts as a benchmark of your fitness, which I didn't really do here. I thought changing it up sort of shocked the muscles. As long as I was hitting 2K pace, I thought that was good, good enough. And I was hitting really good times on these as well, regardless of that. And I was less so prepping for the 6K test at the bottom that you can see here, and more so for the 2K test. I did like a couple 6K workouts, like 6 by 1500 at 2-minute rest, and the workouts I was doing was actually indicating that my 6K was a lot faster than it was. I'm not gonna go over 6K because it was pretty pathetic. My peak power at the time, I believe, was like 1100 watts, and I think I managed a couple months later to get it at 1274 watts. Was the highest I ever got it to. Pretty crazy. I can't get anywhere close to that now. Take that as you will. You can see the training plan. You can see I tapered for way too long these last 2 weeks. Every day that's highlighted in blue, that's a taper day. And I do basically everything at 18 strokes per minute. So when I broke 616, when I did the 616.3 2K, I broke 620. Basically the entire block leading up to that, every erg that I did was at 18 strokes per minute, unless it was like a higher intensity. But anything that was ID'd as ID'd as Cat 6 or Cat 5, I would do at 18 strokes per minute and 18 strokes per minute only. It wasn't like, 19, it wasn't like 20. If anything, it was 18 max, and sometimes I'd go as low as 16. Now I'll do stuff at like 16 strokes per minute. And you'll see how my training differed. And I'm actually trying to analyze these past training plans that I've done and seeing what I've done right, because my body really responded well to whatever training I was doing at the time in regards to that category 2. Not necessarily steady state or aerobic fitness, but my category 2 fitness became really good. My lactate threshold was and is still really high, probably consequently of that. So, and I think one of the biggest contributors to that was low rate all the time, adapting your body to output a much higher force per stroke rather than taking more strokes with less force. You're in a lower category, but your body is still putting similarly to 2K force even during these workouts, but you don't need to be at a perceived rate of exertion that's as high as more intense categories. Now, after I kind of did this 2K, I ended up pulling a 615.3, which was not what I wanted. I was actually trying to go sub 610. More realistically, I think I had the potential to go like 612. That's just my opinion on it. After that, I had qualified for World Rowing Indoor Championships, and that was for the 500 meter piece. I think I ended up pulling like a 119 for 500 meters or 118 or something. And this is kind of just the short block leading up to that. I was just erging for fitness afterward. It was very basic, just a lot of category 6. And then I was grinding weights just because I love lifting. I was kind of just taking a break and doing stuff that I enjoyed. And then moving into like April, like spring season, we were getting back on the water a little bit. We were going in and out of lockdowns. So I get on the water, then get off the water. And basically like my volume just like, I was like, okay, I'm taking a break. And then they announced that Canada would be sending a Junior Worlds team, and I need to figure out a way to get myself fit enough to make the team. Now, I didn't think I was gonna make the team. And then I had to actually pull a 2K right before trials for the junior national team here in Canada. And I didn't know that. I found out about 3 weeks before I had to do the 2K that I needed to do another 2K. And this is after a long period of like lifting every day and doing like half an hour on the erg. I made a 3-week plan similar to the long block that I showed you. I'll show it again, leading up to Canadian Indoor Rowing Championships, where I pulled the 615.3. I made a block similar to that, but for 3 weeks, and it was really useless. I ended up pulling like 618, and it was I was really sick at the end. So just bad prep, dehydrated, whatever, did not know how to prepare for that at all. But it was fast enough to qualify, to go to the selection camp, got selected, made the team, and then I was following their training plan, which is absolutely ludicrous, and they brought me in the single on their peak week of volume. So we were doing probably like 40K a day in the single, where I had gone from no volume at all. And leading up to prepare for this, I was trying to do a lot of like steady state ergs at very high volume, low intensity. And so I was working up. I started with like 3x4K, then I'd go 3x5K, then I'd go 3x6K, and I was 3x6500, then 3x7000. I was trying to work up so I could build this fitness because I knew I was going to get obliterated as soon as I walked into the camp. And I did get absolutely obliterated, and I was getting obliterated for like 2 or 3 weeks before I think we finally got into crew boat. And thank God for that. It was horrible. I was so close to quitting rowing at that point. I had dug myself such a hole, and kind of climbed out of it that summer. It was a lot of volume. We do like almost all of our sessions were steady state, and then we would throw in very high intensity, longer distance pieces. And then on like Saturdays, we would do like 15 by 500 meter pieces at body pace, or we would do like 3 by 1500 meter trials, things of that nature, and we would compare our gold medal standard. I'm not actually at liberty to share exactly what we did for that training plan. I'm also not at liberty to share what I'm doing exactly right now. It'll give you a good idea of sort of the training categories that we're using to achieve what we're doing. And the result for this summer, after doing the hardest like training I've ever done in my life, we came second last in the junior men's quad in the 2021 junior rowing championships. Fantastic result. We kind of move into this year, and in the fall we were again more on the water with my school. I decided to leave the Canada Next Gen program, row with my school for the fall, try to get faster in the single because I was really slow. And it didn't work very well. In hindsight, I probably should have stayed with Rowing Canada and trained with them. Then I moved into the winter. I made a really elaborate plan to try and get myself back in a good position on the erg. At this point, I'm trying to get recruited and recover from the nasty loss at Junior Worlds of coming second last. I was talking to all these schools, and the reoccurring issue was my 2K sucks relative to what other guys are pulling, okay? Like, it's still good, but it's like not great. And then the other problem was I didn't have the results on the water. So it's like I was borderlining on being in those good recruiting spots. And I ended up getting really lucky, but I ended up getting the opportunity to go on some official visits. I ended up getting recruited to Yale for a class of 2026. And kind of moving into the winter, I decided to go to the Canada Next Gen performance. I don't know, there's like some provincial center that we have really close to my house, so that was convenient. And I've been training with them. So basically the plan I'm following now is from our Next Gen program in Canada. I can't tell you the exact program, but I can give you a basic template of what I'm following. The main idea to kind of grasp this or replicate this yourself is that we're only erging once a day. And this is every day except Sunday. Sunday is rest day. It's not rowing day. Sunday is our rest day. Every other day we erg once a day. And most of these ergs are steady state, so that'll be like a 3x6K, like 4x20 minutes, 2x40 minutes, stuff like that. So allocate most of those to steady state. Then on Tuesday and Thursday, those ergs are more intense. So they will go in a category 4 a lot of the time, sometimes category 5, depending on what you're training for. For 2K, we'll throw in some Cat 2 work. So that'll be on Tuesday and Thursday's ergs. Every other day is steady state. Saturday's erg is a very long and intense piece. You want to be well enough to perform highly on Saturday. The other sessions throughout the week, we train twice a day, every day. Tuesday and Thursday will also be a weight session. So you will have the high intensity ergs and like some sort of lifting. So something of that nature on the same day. And all the other sessions throughout the week will be like some sort of spin or cross train. That's very high in volume. So you can build that aerobic base at a proper heart rate. And you focus on heart rate training during these, and make sure that you're not overworking yourself on these like runs or bikes or whatever you're doing as your secondary workout of the day. So you can focus on that one erg of the day and make sure that you perform that to a really high level. So to reiterate, erging only once a day. 2 days of the week are higher intensity. The Saturday erg is very high intensity. There's 2 weight sessions a week, and then every other session is a category 6 cross train of some kind at a very high volume. It changes week to week. We generally will do the same exact plan for 2 to 4 weeks, and then it'll get changed. Going forward now, what I'm trying to do is my 2K at the moment is 613.5. So although my 2K hasn't gone a lot faster, I'm scoring a lot higher on other benchmarks such as overall fitness. My lactate testing has gone very well. I can steady state at a lot higher watts than I ever could have before. And my 6K has gotten dramatically better, whereas my 2K has improved by a couple of seconds over the last year or two. So going forward, I think that my 2K will go down a lot more, given that I have a lot in the bank and now it's just executing what I've built up. And moving forward, I will be trying to go to Junior Worlds again in Italy this year. My intention is to keep the channel updated on any progress that I make. I hope this was insightful for you. I hope this gave you some ideas on maybe what to do, what not to do, what's worked for me, what I think hasn't worked for me. I would also recommend not to follow what I've done or what I've shared to a T. Yeah, but hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Yeah, subscribe.